Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tammy and I'm the creative director of Tom Fashion Empire. So if you are watching me for the first time, if you have been an old time subscriber, it's so good to see your face once again this year. So I know the last time you saw my post, I think it was somewhere in June or July last year when I talked about the sewing tools that you do need to get ready for a sewing journey with me. So this is me saying Happy New Year, guys. So, and welcome back. So, this year, God help me. God help me. I'm believing to do better than I did last year. Anyway, so in today's video, I am going to be showing you how to get your sewing machine ready. So, I'll be back shortly. So welcome back, guys. So like I said, we are going to know a little thing about the sewing machine and how to get it running. So let's get to that. Now, the first thing we are going to be talking about is the cleaning of your sewing machine. At times, I know maybe because of the workload and all that, we just forget to actually give our sewing machine a medical checkup, which it needs it. So now, these are basic things that you can do. You clean the body before you start working. Then when you know that you work too much, or you can do this, let's say weekly or in 2 weeks, once in 2 weeks, it depends on how much work you do. So then you open this part. This is the plate. So while doing this, I'm also going to be talking about some things that may go wrong with the sewing machine when you are using it. As a first timer, the teeth of your sewing machine can cut. How do you know that the teeth of your sewing machine has cut? When you put fabric, it's not taking it. This is the teeth here. This is the teeth or the feet dog. This is it here. So you can see this one is neat. That's because we've cleaned it this year. So now you do need to clean this place. At times, their sewing machine that they are going to have excess fabric at this place. So I'm going to open the plate slide so that we can have a better view. You clean this place. You also pull this part down like so. Then you remove this and you clean it. These ones are neat. So I'm just going to show you. You clean this part, you can see this part, you can see all the parts you need to. You don't do too much because you are not a sewing machine mechanic, so there is a little that you can do. It's just for you to just, at least when something goes wrong with your sewing machine, there are some little things that you should know how to do so that you can just go ahead and fix it. Now, like I was saying, at this part now, there are times that when you are sewing, it's not like it has excess thread, but the fabric is not just moving. It is because the teeth is faulty. So these teeth get faulty, most especially if you are working with, if you are just starting to work with sewing machine. I remember the first time I had issue, I had to take it to my sewing machine mechanic, which was like, if you're in a student environment, you know what I mean by when you're in student environment and you have to go to town. So that was the issue I had then. So which I, not knowing that I could just buy it and fix it myself. So the teeth, you can just open it this way, just gently. Then you do want to be mindful of this screw. You don't want to misplace them. So you have to be careful. Make sure you don't misplace them. So this is one. So there are different sizes of screwdriver that we use. These are just the basic tool that you need, which comes with a new sewing machine, and you can as well buy them. So now this is the teeth now. So you can see the teeth too is dirty. So when you are working and it feels like it keeps gathering, you keep having excess thread, just go ahead, try and open it, clean it, do the normal basic cleanings before you decide, okay, maybe there is more to it. Now this is it. So this place is just oil that I have there. So now this is it. Now I'm going to go ahead and fix them back. So I'm not going to do too much. Don't worry. Maybe in another video, if you guys let me know if you enjoy watching it. So maybe I'll do a long one for how to maintain your sewing machine more. So now I'm just going to go ahead and lock it back. So you do want to be careful. And once you've cleaned your plate, just go ahead, place it back. So you need to make sure that it's balanced. It must balance with the stick. So if it is not balanced, you just have to place it and make sure that it is balanced. Now this is mine now. So this is it. Once I get the setting of the plate, I'm just going to know where to put my screw back directly. So then you go ahead, fix the two screws. So now once this is set, you want to I'm going to remove this elastic at this part. I'm going to remove it so we can get this now. Now I'm going to remove it. So this is elastic, not rope or thread. No, this is elastic. Now for this part now, for this part, I've raised it up so that you can see. Now for this now, there is a way that you need to set it. This part and this part must sit perfectly here. So you need to set it. At times you can see there's still more dirt here, so you can just go ahead clean everything. Now you can just hold it a little bit and move the wheel of the sewing machine. If it doesn't move, that means it is not well placed. But if it does move, that means it is well placed. So now I just moved it now to be sure if it is well placed, which it is. So now the next thing is to fix this in. Now this one has two pin here. The pin must be outside. This place here must be at the base. That means this place here must match up with this point. So I'm going to bring it here like so. Can you see? So once it is sitting here, that means it is well balanced. Once that pin at the base, you will see one little pin at the base. Once it is sitting in between, it is well balanced. Then I'm going to go ahead and use this to pin it down. I'm going to do the same thing here too. So once I try to move the wheel, if it is moving perfectly, that means I've done a good job in placing everything back. That means I've done a good job. Now, once I do that, that is that for you can just open you can also open this part too and do your cleaning. I do that a lot. So in fact, this is one of the simplest parts to open. So it is just a way to save money for you. It's just a way to save money. So you don't have to call your machine mechanic, you can see. So you can always go ahead, clean this part, clean it, give it a nice cleaning, and that's it. Now the next thing is you can go ahead, clean this part too. So you can clean this too, just to give it to make it look appear neat. Then when you want to fix this screw, is not compulsory you remove all of this screw. This screw is just supposed to come inside here. So this is it. Then you want to balance it this way, and that's it. And you just hold it down and you screw it. So you just want to make sure that you do it very well. Now the next thing we want to know is where to oil. How do we oil the sewing machine? Now you have to oil all these parts. This part, this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, this part. Let me just put it this way. Just oil every part that if you don't know where to oil, just try and move your sewing machine. Oil all the parts that keeps moving. So just you can move it this way and try to see every part that moves, every part that come together for you to be able to see. So you can turn it over this way so you can see now there is oil at all these parts, because it is just like when you don't oil it, it start getting rusty, and when it is getting rusty, it may not be as easy and as smooth it should be when you have to see with it. So that's why it is necessary to oil the important parts. So you can just look at you see these places, you can see these places. Every part that moves, you can see every part that moves. So you can make the total general oil, let's say like once in a month is okay. Once in a month is okay. So now that's the general. When I say the general, that you have to leave the edge of another. But the other points here, the other points, like let's say this part, you can do that once in a week, twice in a week at most, but not every day. Twice in a week at most, or once in a week. So if you use your sewing machine often, the oiling would have to be or everyday thing. No, it doesn't need to be everyday thing because it's something that you use often. Now, once you get the oiling part, the next thing is to go ahead, fix the elastic. This one is elastic now. So when I want to fix it, I just cut 1 yard. At times I reduce it to let's say 34 32 inches. So now, and it comes in the neck this way. This way, this is it now. Next thing you want to get is how to pass your needle. How to pass your needle. So how do you pass your needle? Now for this one I use it for both leather and fabric. For leather I use size 23, while for fabric I use 18, and this is size 18. Now, when you look at it, I'm using the violin thread, which is this one. It's 150 per sachet. Now, if you look at it, the base is well rounded, there's no flat sides there. So now the only part where you can know that okay, this is where it should be outside, this is where this part here. If you look at this part, there is a line here. You may not see it, but this is it holding my this is it. You, that is why this one is making a sound because there's a line in between this part. So it is this line part that is going to face outside. Then when you look at the other side, it looks like a slopey area, like a slope, like this place is coming up, going in there, coming up again. So it is this part, that slope area, that is going to be inside. So that means that when you are fixing it, you have to make sure that it is well placed like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, we call this part a stopper. Let me show you. I'm bringing it down. This point here, this is a small nail here, so that it can, I'll be able to know that okay, this is where to stop. There are some sewing machine that might have lost it, but then you just have to be careful. I'll tell you how you know. Now, this stopper now is going to help me in knowing that okay, once I fix my needle in, there's no way it's going to pass again. That means it has gotten to the right place. Now, and I'm going to go ahead and screw it up with my screwdriver. Now, there are some times that when you pass it, by now, there's no how I'm going to know if I've done it right or not. It's like I said, there's no how you're going to know whether you've done it right or not. The next thing is to go ahead and fix the thread. This is the bobbin case or shuttle, and this is the bobbin or reeler. So you have to bring it inside like this. Then you hold on to a strand of the thread, you let it come in between this line like so. Then you bring it this way and you bring it out back. So I hope you get it. Let me do it again. So you are going to place it in this way. Let it pass through in between this space here. Then you bring it here. You just need it to just hang on to one part of the metal here. That is this metal here. Just let it hang here and you bring it out from here. So let's do it again. So this is it, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it. Now I'm going to open the slide here. Then when you are fixing it, you can, like now mine is like this. So there's now I'm going to be able to do it like this. I can just go ahead and just bring it up a little bit. Then you go ahead and pull it this way. So you just want to make sure that it sits perfectly whenever you do it. Just go ahead, bring it in and bring it this way. So then I'll close the slide back. So the next thing now is to go ahead and pass the other needle, which that means the thread. So I'm going to place this on this wheel here. Then I'm going to bring it over this way, then pass it through this point. Then I'm going to bring it inside this point. Now this is the tension area. So there's a space here. So mind you, you place it here, not here, neither is it here or at the back here. It must be at this point here. Then you bring it out back. So the next thing is going to be to pass it from here now. Then you go ahead, bring it from here. There's always a space at this point here, at this point here. So you just go ahead, pull it gently and inside. Then we go ahead and pass it through the needle. So at times there are some sewing machine that still has something like an hanger here that you can pass it through. But since this one doesn't have, I'm just going to go ahead and pass it through my needle once and for all. And the next thing is I want to check if I pass my needle right or wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. So once you can get a strand of the thread from the bobbin case, then you have done a good job. So you can go ahead and try to see with it. Now, when you try this and you notice that you could not take the thread underneath it, that means that you've not done a good job. You still have to go ahead and repass the needle again. Now, the next thing is going to be for me to go ahead and seal. Now, there are sometimes that when you pass it right, when you are sewing, it is sewing right, but you notice that the thread keeps cutting. It may be because you passed the needle wrong, which means the needle that needs to face this part is facing this part. So you can go ahead and repass your needle. So, or and when you check that and you pass it right, it may be because your plate is almost damaged. Look at the plate like this now. This is damaged already because all this part of the plate is going to be cutting. That's this part is going to always cut my thread. So at times when you notice that your thread is also gathering, this may be one of the issue. So I'm going to keep sewing. So there is a part here which we call the stitch regulator. The stitch regulator, which is the one that you use to determine, okay, you want to reverse, you want to lock your stitch, you want to go back. You can see when it takes too long time there, it's going to cut. So I'm going to go ahead, and at times it just cuts, but when your thread just cuts often, just know that something is wrong with the settings. I've repassed it and I'm going to continue. So now, once you start, this is the base. The lowest part of the stitch regulator is where you place it when you are trying to gather your fabric. So, and you don't try to lock your stitch when you are trying to gather. Now, when you bring it up to this point here, this point is labeled 6, some are labeled 8. So it differs. So that is the lowest that you use when you are trying to stitch. So now, when you now go up a bit, that is, we don't often use that because it makes your stitch too tight.